My name is Mira. I'm 27 years old. What I'm about to share with you isn't just a memory. It's a storm that once lived inside me, a hurricane of love, betrayal, silence, and rediscovery. If you've ever loved someone so deeply that you forgot who you were, then maybe, just maybe, you'll understand what I went through. And if you're still healing from someone who walked away without warning, know this: you are not alone. It all started when I was 21. Young, naive, full of life, and dreams so big they could touch the clouds. That was the year I met him. His name was Armin. He walked into my life with a quiet confidence that made everyone turn their heads. But it wasn't his looks that caught me, it was the way he saw me. Like I was made of stardust, and gravity pulled him toward me. We met at a friend's engagement party. The music was loud, people were dancing, but our eyes found each other in the middle of the chaos. He didn't say much at first, just a soft hi and a smile that made me forget how to breathe. We talked for hours that night, about nothing and everything. The stars, our favorite songs, how we both hated pineapple on pizza, and how we both believed in fate. By the end of the evening, I felt like I had known him all my life. Armin was different. He didn't rush. He didn't play games. He made me feel safe, like I could say the wrong thing and he'd still listen, still smile. We started spending more time together, long walks, coffee dates, endless conversations under the stars. He called me his miracle, said he didn't believe in love until he met me. And I believed every word. I fell for him like the sky falls at sunset, quietly, beautifully, and all at once. My friend said I glowed when I spoke about him. My mother said she saw something in my eyes that wasn't there before. He became my everything. My mornings started with his messages. My nights ended with his voice. I built my world around him, forgetting that anything built on someone else's shadow can one day disappear. For a while, everything was perfect. Or maybe I wanted it to be. Slowly, things started to change. He stopped answering my texts as quickly. His calls became shorter. He laughed less, smiled less. The warm man who used to tell me I was his entire universe started drifting into silence. I asked him once, "Is something wrong?" He looked at me and said, "No, I'm just tired." But tired doesn't make you forget birthdays. Tired doesn't make you ignore someone's tears. Tired doesn't make you forget how to love. I told myself it was just a phase. That maybe he was stressed. That love like ours doesn't just fade. But deep down, I knew. I felt it in the way he stopped looking at me. I felt it in the silence between our conversations. I felt it when I hugged him and he didn't hold me back. Then came the night that changed everything. He didn't answer his phone all day. No texts. No replies. I went to his apartment. The door was unlocked. I stepped in and I knew something was different. The scent of someone else's perfume still lingered. A girl's bracelet sat on the coffee table. My heart sank. When he came in, he didn't look shocked to see me. He looked tired. Not the kind of tired he'd used as an excuse, but tired of pretending. Tired of me. I asked him, "Who is she?" He looked at me, then away, and said nothing. That silence was louder than any scream. I walked out that night with my heart in pieces. I didn't cry, not then. I was too numb. But when I got home, I collapsed on the floor. My chest felt like it was caving in. I held my pillow like it was the only thing keeping me alive and whispered his name into the dark. Every night after that felt like drowning. I replayed our memories like torture. His voice in my head haunted me. I checked my phone every few minutes, hoping he'd message me, explain himself, tell me it was all a mistake. But the screen stayed empty. Silent. Just like he had become. I stopped going out. I stopped smiling. I stopped being me. People around me didn't notice at first. I still laughed at their jokes. I still said I was okay. But inside, I was dying. Not in the dramatic sense, but in the slow, suffocating way that heartbreak kills. Every part of me that once believed in love began to fade. Weeks turned into months. I kept pretending to be fine. But the truth is, I was lost. I didn't recognize myself anymore. I was just a shadow of the girl I once was, hopeful, trusting, alive. Then one morning, something broke inside me, but this time it was different. I looked in the mirror and saw someone who had waited too long. For closure. For an apology. For a man who had already moved on. I saw someone who had put her worth in someone else's hands and forgot she was enough on her own. That morning, I made a decision. I was done crying for someone who didn't cry for me. I was done waiting for someone who had already replaced me. I was done loving someone who forgot how to love me. I started small. I took a long walk with no destination. I sat by the lake and just breathed. I deleted his number, not because I hated him, but because I needed to stop hoping he'd call. I bought myself flowers. I wrote letters I never sent. I read books about women who rose from the ashes. I listened to songs that reminded me of pain, and then, slowly, songs that reminded me of power. I changed my hair. I changed my habits. I changed my story. And in all of that change, I started to find her again, the girl I lost. The girl who loved to dance in the rain. The girl who believed in dreams too big and laughed too loud. The girl who didn't need someone to complete her because she was already whole. One evening, I wrote him one final letter. Not for him. For me. Armin, I loved you. Truly. And for a while, you made me feel seen, alive, special. But you also broke me. You left me without answers, and I spent months trying to understand why. But I've realized that sometimes love isn't enough. And sometimes closure doesn't come from the other person, it comes from choosing to move on. I forgive you. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. Goodbye. I burned that letter. Watched it turn to ashes, just like the version of me that clung to the past. It didn't happen overnight, but healing found me. I stopped looking for him in crowded rooms. I stopped comparing myself to her. I stopped needing him to be okay. And one day, I smiled, genuinely, freely, from my heart. Not because someone made me, but because I had finally chosen myself. A year later, I saw him again. We crossed paths at a bookstore. He looked surprised, maybe even guilty. But I felt nothing. No anger. No pain. Just calm. He said, "You look different." I smiled. I am. We talked for 5 minutes. He didn't ask to come back. I didn't offer anything. We were two strangers who once shared a universe. And now we were just two people moving on with our lives. I walked away from him with my head high, my heart intact, and my soul finally at peace. That was the moment I knew I had truly healed. Now, I wake up with dreams that have nothing to do with him. I sing songs about the sky, the sea, and all the beauty that still exists. I laugh loudly again. I fall in love with sunrises, with poetry, with the way the rain hits my window. And most importantly, I've fallen in love with me. To anyone listening who is still waiting for that message, who still cries into their pillow at night, who still wonders what they did wrong, listen closely. You did nothing wrong. You loved. You trusted. You gave your heart. That is not weakness. That is courage. Sometimes people leave not because you're not enough, but because they never truly were. And their absence is not your ending. It's your beginning. You are not broken. You are becoming. Thank you for being here with me. If this story touched even one piece of your heart, I hope you hold on to this truth. Love doesn't always stay. But strength? That stays. That grows. That saves you.